Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Creative Corner. This is your founder and host, Patrick Monaghan. Today, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, Jeremy Bakole. Jeremy, thanks for coming on. Hope everything's been good as usual. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, man. I'm honored to be here. Let's get it.
Thank you. So for those that maybe might not know, Jeremy, you've done mainly modeling, but also a bit of acting. Can you kind of walk us through how did you even get started with modeling? And was there a point in time where you thought I could do this professionally?
Well, so all my life I've played football. Then when I retired from my first unofficial love, you know, I had a few photographers and a few people in my ear telling me I should model or whatnot. So I never really paid it much attention. Then when I kept hearing it, I finally looked into it. And one of those photographers ended up giving me like a little photo shoot. Then after that photo shoot, he sent it out to like some agents that he knew. And from there on, literally, I got signed. And it's just been a snowball effect from. So yeah, long story short, I was playing football all my life. Then when that stopped, I finally just looked into modeling and started getting submitted and signing with agencies. And then from there, the work came.
Was that
Um,
was that typical of as far as how you got signed, or was because it sounds like a lot of times it's just maybe one or two people telling you something, and then it sounds like they were like, okay, this seems like this would be a good fit. Was it like doing like almost a trial run, or was it straight to booking events like, one or two
oh man, see,
campaigns?
that's the thing when it comes to modeling. Yo, that's usually how it happens. Well, I mean, it just depends on your look and the market you're in. So, me, I got blessed because I'm in a commercial market and I have a commercial look. And I was just able to, book left and right. But yeah, it just depends on your look and what market you're in and your agents and your agencies and who they know and who their clients are. So, some people get signed to an agency, don't book anything, or maybe book one or two things in a year. Others get signed and booked a few things here and there, and then some get signed and they just book left and right. So it just depends on your look in the market and then the strength of your agents and agencies.
Do you think like maybe it also comes down to, okay, yeah, I've been booked, but I have to also kind of do some networking, myself. And it's like maybe not just resting on your laurels and saying, okay, cool, I have an agency, they're going to handle everything. Is it also kind of like, for example, with you, you've obviously made friends and connections in the industry. Does it get to the point where sometimes you're able to book something without even using an agent? Is it like, oh, my friend has an opportunity for me, or oh, I worked on this campaign with them in the past and they just kind of hit me up and asked if I'd be interested? Or is it usually maybe a more kind of formal process?
No, absolutely. Well, you definitely want to take matters into your own hands at some points because when an agency represents you, they only represent you in a certain region or state or market. And if you take the ball into your own hands and make things happen, you can have a friend of yours who lives in New York and they're his client or he knows a job that'd be perfect for you. And you could work out there without it interfering with the region you're actually signed in. But just in general, yeah, you want to meet your agents and agencies halfway. You want to stay prepared, and that goes from anything from having your portfolio updated to having your look clean and tidy, just in case you get booked for something the following day without a casting or anything. And yeah, man, you definitely want to stay prepared, man, because you never know when you're going to get that call or when an agent's going to like fly you out for something that's last minute.
If it's last
Yeah.
minute, do you guys have to do anything extra, or is it already kind of you go straight to actually filming? Because one thing I've always been confused about is like an actual day to day. Like it seems like, from talking to you always in the past, it would be you would come in and it sounds like it would be 3 or 4 hours of prep work before anything was actually done. It sounds like it's maybe a little more prep work, and then when it comes to the actual job, that it seems like that takes a little bit less time. That's just kind of what I've kind of picked up on. But again, obviously, I'm no expert.
Yeah, so when it comes to work, it definitely depends on the professionalism of the client. But for the most part, me, this is just my personal story. When I book something, I'm usually just chilling up until, they need me for a certain part or a certain role. Me, I'm usually just chilling backstage or in a trailer or in the chill room. But usually if you get a last minute call, they take care of everything. You just have to show up and be prepared. You just have to, make sure your luggage is prepped with the right wardrobe that they might need that they weren't able to get. Might need to get a haircut or something. But for the most part, when you're on set, I mean, things take time. You could be booked for an 8-hour day, but if it takes them a couple hours here and there to commute from set to set or location to location, then that's just natural. But for the most part, and it also depends on how much experience you have as a model. If you are experienced and you get to work with the photographer, you get to give them different looks, you move fast. If you're creative on set and you give them something above and beyond, then you usually move pretty quick. But yeah, it's always good to, help the photographer.
So is that kind of how you guys sort of maybe balance it out, where it's like, okay, cool. It's not as much of one person. It's not like you being a model or them being a photographer that one has to do a lot more work than the other.
Right.
It sounds like
Right.
it's a symbiotic relationship where if I'm the photographer and I'm coming in, maybe I'm really a little more, inexperienced. Is that where going and having the experience helps out, where you can be like, okay, I've already done this type of shoot before, or I already know I've worked with, this company before. I already kind of know what they want. And you're
Absolutely.
able to just kind of help them out, because that's how it sounds like to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The better you are and the better you are at working with them, the more they book you on a consistent basis, because now they know that with you, you're just going to flow. So I have a few clients that love me and have booked me year in and year out. And, to book them, I had to go through a casting process. I had to be with a few different models and, get callbacks, this, that, and the third. And I finally booked them. And man, just the fact that I don't have to go through that process anymore, they just direct book me. It's great, man.
Of course.
You just gotta know the flow and the energy of their product and of their set. And once they know that you're efficient and you know what to do the minute they call you, they love that. So that makes their job easier.
Is it also like, you talk about a casting process. Is it easier, like if you've already, say with you, since you were already playing football, does it make it easier where you're like, I don't really have to go through a casting process if I'm doing something related to football? I've already played football, like I already know about it. Or is it sometimes where you kind of have to do a casting process? Is that more like if you're more inexperienced, or is it more if you haven't worked with that client before?
Um, it just depends on the client. Some clients are from out of town, and they just are, for example, in Miami because they like the weather, and just due to various reasons, whether they didn't want to get an extra hotel or this, that, and the third, they might just direct book you. And others, they're probably based in Miami, so they have a few days before the shoot to actually cast people, this, that, and the third. But yeah, it just depends on the client, really. But if you book one time and you're good and they like you, then they'll make you like your main model. I know some models who have made even up to 6 figures with one client, working with them like at least 10 years. Then
10 years.
other clients, they like switch it up. Even though you were great and consistent with them for a year or 2 or 3 or 4, sometimes they just need a different look. So, after like 3 or 4 years, they might do another casting, just to bring in some fresh faces.
But did they do a referral too? Or, like say like, for example, say you were doing something, I know in the past you did stuff with Champion. Say you're doing stuff with Champion for a while and they were like, okay, we're going to switch up the look. Do they go, oh, we're going to switch up the look, but, oh, we've got 2 or 3, maybe other companies, not maybe competitors, but maybe two or three other people that will kind of put you on and see about maybe you can work on that campaign, or or do they not really do something like that?
Nah, they don't really do referrals like that. But it's always good to, maintain good relationships with them, because you never know if that photographer could go work for another very good client, and he has you from previous um, relationships or whatever, or another stylist or booker or even agent could go to like another agency and can make connections from previous relationships. But I mean, that's the closest thing to like a referral, which is still kind of great.
It's still a relationship thing, though. I mean, I think that's the thing that maybe gets misunderstood. Is it's like it seems heavily predicated on the relationship. Like if you
Yeah,
come in and maybe you could have done really well, but say it was like you didn't get along with the casting agent, or you didn't get along with the photographer, or on the flip side, maybe you guys got along really well. I think maybe that sounds like it's kind of like the closing or like the breaking point, right? It's like, okay, yeah, we're kind of deciding between two people. Maybe it's something, say in Miami. Say you're like, okay, Jeremy's in Charlotte, the other one's in Miami. We've worked with both before, but we had a better relationship with Jeremy and we thought he was more professional. It sounds like they'd be like, well, we're going to go with him, even though maybe the other one's local, but it didn't
absolutely.
have as good a vibe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I've been on one of my friends in Miami still gets actually flown out to Charlotte just to do that job just because they love him that much. And it's not to say I've never had a casting with him, but I've also casted for that same job, and I guess they just love him that much that they just keep him coming back. So he's doing something good on his end. They'd rather like fly him in from Miami than to refresh their new faces and like have me come in. But that's cool.
was that also
Everybody wins as long as he's.
was that the reason you went to Miami though as well? When you decided to do more things with Miami, I know you've done more things in Phoenix and other places in like the Caribbean and stuff. Was that kind of the thought process is by coming over to Miami, not to say that you maybe conquered Charlotte, but was the feeling like I'm going to Miami, there's more opportunities and more challenges? Because I wouldn't call Charlotte a small market, but it doesn't seem like it has the opportunities of
Now,
say a Miami.
shout out to Charlotte, man. It was a great start, and I'm still signed here, and my agents and agency here still treat me great. But you know, in this industry, you always want to, expand your horizon and test different markets just to, get new clients and make new relationships and get your face out there more, to build your brand. And going to Miami for me was um, just another great opportunity to do the aforementioned. And yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
I remember going down there too. I remember because I think you had got to
Oh,
Miami.
yeah.
I think you had just got to Miami when Tana and I had come down.
Yeah, and isn't that crazy? Like the following day, I had like a last minute booking, and I like left. I
I
think
think
that's
you went up to Charlotte actually. That was
yeah.
funny as
I
hell.
think no, I think I went to Tennessee. I had a shoot in Tennessee. Yeah, it was crazy, man. That was so unexpected, man. So
Do you also see maybe more activity when it's like say it's Art Basel, or there's something going on like say there's a Charlotte Fashion Week. Does that see more activity as well, or does that not really play maybe as much of an effect?
yeah, it does. You see more activity anytime there's a big event. A lot of clients are in town. I want to, get some work done, get some new faces in their catalog or in their future projects. Um, yeah, events and all of that always boost the economy and always boost opportunities.
One thing that's always been interesting to me too is like, you talk about building your brand. I've always been kind of interested in the way that